How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Twitter. They sent me an email this morning out of the blue. This is a letter about the whole Russia kerfuffle. Now, you see it over my left-hand shoulder. We're going to read it, and we're going to get more into the weeds. They posted a blog post about this and everything. But basically, I think this stems from them, not only Twitter, but Facebook, maybe even Google having to go to Capitol Hill to testify about the whole Russia kerfuffle. It's gotten so bad that they are making the social media networks reach out to people talking about you may have been influenced by the Russians during the election, this, that, and the third. Once we get to the blog post, that's when it gets really interesting. But I'm going to read the letter they sent me right here. And you see, this is to me. This is on my Yahoo email. And it says, Dear Anthony Logan. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you right there. See, Twitter legal. And it says information regarding Russian influence campaigns on Twitter. And of course, that's my name, Dear Anthony Brown Logan. As part of our recent work to understand Russian linked activities on Twitter during the 2016 U.S. presidential election, we identified and suspended a number of accounts that were probably connected to a propaganda effort by a Russian government linked organization known as the Internet Research Agency. Now, when you see the accounts that they flagged for being part of this agency, you're going to say, okay, what's the big deal about that? So what? What's the problem? I don't understand. Consistent with our commitment to transparency, we are emailing you because we have reason to believe that you either followed one of these accounts or retweeted or liked content from these accounts during the election period. This is purely for your own information purposes and is not related to a security concern for your account. Well, I don't think it would be. I mean, come on, you're talking about likes and retweets. I mean, what is the big deal? So what? I don't care where the information comes from. If I'm liking them, I'm liking it. If I'm retweeting them, I'm retweet it. I mean, we got a free will to do pretty much whatever we want as long as it's legal. Now, the last time I checked, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But last time I checked, it was not illegal to like a tweet on Twitter. I mean, come on. We are sharing this information so that you can learn more about these accounts and the nature of the Russian propaganda effort. You can see examples of content from these suspended accounts on our blog, and we will see that in just a moment. If you're interested, I am interested, and I think you are as well. People look to Twitter for useful, timely, and appropriate information. We are taking active steps to stop malicious accounts and tweets from spreading, and we are determined to keep ahead of the tactics of bad actors. For example, in recent months, we have developed new techniques to identify accounts manipulating our platform, have improved our process for challenging suspicious accounts, and have introduced new measures designed to identify and take action on coordinated malicious activity. In 2018, we are building on these improvements. Our blog also contains more information about these efforts. Now, my question is this. When you say bad actors, when you say, coordinated efforts and all this and that, are you talking about hacking? Are you talking about DDoS? Are you talking about simply basic tweets from random accounts? You'll see these tweets. When you see the tweets, you're going to be like, come on, really, Twitter? Is it that serious to send them in a letter and his email talking about Russia? I mean, the tweets are going to be really benign. You're going to see them in just a moment. But let's finish this letter out right here. People come to Twitter to see what's happening in the world. We are committed to making it the best place to do that and to being transparent with the people who use and trust our platform, Twitter. Okay, that is the letter. They actually sent me that this morning. I was surprised. I happened to look at it. I'm thinking it's one of those emails they send you of, like an update. You know how they do. They may send you an email and say, okay, while you were gone, you missed this on Twitter. I thought it was one of those. And sometimes there's pretty good tweets in there. So I just opened it to see that. And then I didn't realize it would be this whole big letter. So let's get to the blog post here. I already have the tab up. And here's a post from Twitter. Matter of fact, I'm going to move this window over a little bit so you can see. This is Twitter public policy @policy. Move it back over there so we can see it. All righty. Now, you see the headline. It says update on Twitter's review of 2016 U.S. election. And the blog post reads, when we appeared before the U.S. Congress last fall, that's what I was talking about earlier. I think it was Twitter, Google, Facebook, a lot of these companies that exist online, these big companies, social media, they had to, I don't know if they got subpoenaed or if they just happened to, if they were invited to speak or what the case is, but they did speak on Capitol Hill. And if I could find a link to that event, I will place that in the box below. Twitter publicly committed to regularly updating both congressional committees and the public on findings from our ongoing review into events surrounding the 2016 U.S. election. Twitter is committed to providing a platform that fosters healthy civic discourse and democratic debate. We have been cooperating with congressional investigations into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. We have committed to be as transparent as possible about sharing what we have learned through our retroactive investigation into activity related to the election. So basically, they're going back in time. They're going back 2015, 2016, 2017 to see any of these so-called malicious tweets, any of these bad actors or whatever, and then just putting them out here to the public. So if you happen to follow them, retweet them, like I said in a letter, they're going to let you know what's going on. I'm not saying it's creepy that they know this information, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's not creepy either, but I'm gonna go ahead and digress. Twitter is committed to providing a platform that fosters healthy civic discourse and democratic debate. I'm not sure about that because, I've seen some of the purges that have been going on Twitter, and you got some people like, I think Lauren Southern got kicked, Blonde, shout out to Blonde from the Beauty and the Beta, and shout out to Matt. I was on their show once. Good people. I think she got banned. A lot of people get banned, and sometimes it's for old tweets, just random stuff. And it always seems to be on one side of the political aisle, right? I mean, you got straight porn stars on there with nude pictures, sexual acts, and whatever, and that's fine. That seems to be left alone. But let's just say something about normies and Nazis or something like that. All of a sudden, you get banned, you get put on suspension, whatever the case, shadow ban and stuff like that. Since we presented our findings to Congress last fall, we have updated our analysis and continue to look for patterns and signals in data. Today, we are sharing an update on several aspects of that ongoing work, as well as steps we are taking to continue to make progress against potential manipulation of our platform. Now, we'll see what they're going to actually do about that. And I think this section here is where they talk about sending the emails or whatever the case may be. And it says, informing people of malicious activity in the 2016 election. As previously announced, we identified and suspected a number of accounts that were potentially connected to a propaganda effort by Russian government-linked organization known as the Internet Research Agency, IRA. Consistent with our commitment to transparency, we are emailing notifications to 677,775 people, really, in the USA who followed one of these accounts or retweeted or liked a tweet from these accounts during the election period. Because we have already suspended these accounts, the relevant content on Twitter is no longer publicly available. Now, my question is this. Okay, you have this list of like almost 700,000 people, 677,000 people. Is this a blacklist? Am I going to be put on a list like as far as to watch out for me? Am I going to be flagged for review? So let's say, for example, somebody reports one of my tweets. If I'm on this list you have right here of the 700,000 people that interacted with one of these accounts, that liked something, that shared something, to retweeted something, would I get put in a priority list to remove from the platform or to suspend? I wonder about that, because it would seem like it's a way to filter out, because on Twitter, you got a lot of people. You're talking about millions, if not billions of people on Twitter, or if not individual people, definitely a lot of different accounts. You may have one person with multiple accounts. I have more than one account. I think I do. I think I have one kind of account that I may use for business purposes. But my point is that it's a lot of different people and a lot of different accounts. So this may be a way to narrow the account list down. And from there may be some, priority given when it comes to banning or shadow banning, suspending, or whatever the case may be. But I digress. Examples of IRA content. Now, here's the juicy part. Here's where it really gets good. Most user engagement was with a very small number of IRA associated accounts. Some examples of content which received significant engagement are, and this person was Pamela _ 13. I think I recognize that account. And then it's all it is a shirt with the caption, "Great shirt." And the caption reads, or the shirt reads, Obama called me clinger, Hillary calls me deplorable, terrorists call me infidel, Trump calls me American, exclamation mark. So that right there, that is linked to a Russian account. So therefore, Twitter and the U.S. government and whoever else decided that I needed to get notified about that. Well, thank you for letting me know that Russia sent me this harmless, benign, silly tweet. And here's another one from Tennessee GOP, 10_GOP. Now, is that a Russia account? I want to see. I want to see if that actually exists. I'm sure there is a Tennessee GOP. I live in Tennessee right now. So I wonder if anybody in Tennessee knew about this account, if it's a so-called Russian bot or whatever the case may be. And the picture, if you're not watching me on the video, I'm thinking I'm seeing, okay, I'm about to say that was Matt Lauer in the background. That's not Matt Lauer. What you have here is Slick Willie, Bill Clinton, kind of going like this, with his face in his hand. And then you have Chelsea right beside him, his daughter, of course, looking kind of stern, looking like a young Hillary. And the caption says, you don't even need these polls. Donald Trump won. You can read it on Bill Clinton's face. #debate. So I guess that was during the debate. So I guess, tweets like these really raise a red flag. This is pure propaganda. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe that somebody would put a caption that most Americans would put under the picture when they were watching the debate, when they see his face and when they see her face. OK, and let's go to another one for Tennessee GOP. And this one says FBI Director Comey resign now. And then I think the O in now has, I think that's the FBI seal. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. And then under that graphic, right next to Comey's face, that face where I think it's a meme where it says, that your dog's involved with an affair or something like that. And they put their bottom lip up in their top lip. And it's like, it forms like a frown. That's what he's doing right here in this picture. And on the right hand side, it has that what I just read, and underneath that it says the American people, and the caption says RT retweet if you also think that FBI Director Comey should be impeached for blocking the investigation and abetting a criminal. How is this propaganda? This is really basic stuff. I would say the exact same thing. I'm pretty sure that I had said the same thing. Propaganda, in my humble opinion, would be something that somebody put out there that the average person would not think about, pure false information, lies, or whatever. These are just basic random opinions that people share. This is just feelings people have. It's not really, I don't know how this could be qualified as propaganda. And Crystal Johnson, Crystal One Johnson, I think I've seen that account before. And her tweet, or whatever person tweeted this, it says cops have killed 68 people in 22 days since #Kaepernick started protesting. 68 in 22 days, have no words, #Keith Lamont Scott. So this one is not a conservative one. This is more the Black Lives Matter. So my thing is this, if we're talking about, the Russians were trying to help Trump during the 2016 campaign, then what's up with this tweet right here over my left-hand shoulder? What's going on with that? I mean, that seems like it's going to be against Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I think on Facebook, they found a lot of the so-called Russian linked accounts were in favor of Black Lives Matter. And if I could find that article, I will put that in the description box below. So my whole thing is this. If you got the so-called Russians playing both sides of the fence, so to speak, then how can it be said that the Russians are trying to help Trump specifically? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What I think is going on here is that some of these tweets come from sponsored posts that somebody was paid to do. It could be from anybody. It's like this. Okay, if you go on Twitter, if you go on the internet and then you see an ad for Twitter promotion, Facebook promotion, and some random person signs up for it and pays some money, they don't really know who they're paying. They could be paying anybody. And even if they do know who they're paying, they don't know if that person is using a third party source. I'm just giving the alternative explanation for what's going on here, because it doesn't make sense for Russia to be playing both sides of the fence with basic tweets that anybody would say. But I'm gonna move on. Another one from Pamela Moore. This is a picture of George Soros looking like a fossil, and it says retweet RT if you think that President Trump should put George Soros on the FBI most wanted list, hashtag MAGA. And that is the example. That is the extent of the example of the tweets. Very harmful, right? And here's some more of this blog post. It says updated numbers of IRA accounts. As part of our ongoing review, we have identified both more IRA and automated Russia-based accounts. Now, Russia-based, what does that mean? Does that mean that it could be just a regular normie in his underwear in the basement in Moscow? I mean, is that what that means? So when you say Russia-based, you're just talking about a regular Russian person, possibly. Isn't that xenophobia? But I digress. The results of this supplemental analysis are consistent with the results of our previous work. Automated election-related content associated with Russian signals represented a very small fraction of the overall activity on Twitter in the 10-week period preceding the 2016 election. We have identified an additional 1,062 accounts associated with the IRA. We have suspended all these accounts for terms of service violations, primarily spam, and all but a few accounts which were restored to legitimate users. Okay, so maybe some of these accounts like the Tennessee GOP, maybe that was overtaken by the so-called Russians, and then some of these harmless tweets were put out there. Who knows? Or maybe some of these accounts were given to some agencies that happen to be based in Russia to do campaign stuff. Maybe it was a paid thing. Maybe they weren't thinking, okay, I'm giving my account to a Russian actor, but then when the U.S. government steps in and when Twitter steps in, they see that it came from Russia. So now all of a sudden it's a problem. At the request of congressional investigators, we are also sharing those account handles with Congress. In total, during the time period we investigated, the 3,814 identified IRA linked accounts posted 175,993 tweets, approximately 8.4% of which were election related. So I wonder what the other, 92% of the tweets were about. Was it just like real basic? Because what I'm thinking, like I said before, and I'm gonna repeat myself, it's probably just basic Twitter promotion. So you probably had stuff about working out, cooking, self-help books, real basic stuff. Back to the article. We have also provided Congress with the results of our supplemental analysis into activity believed to be automated, election-related activity originating out of Russia during the election period. Through our supplemental analysis, we have identified 13,512 additional accounts for a total of 50,258 automated accounts that we have identified as Russian linked and tweeting election-related content during the election period, representing approximately 0.02% of the total accounts on Twitter at the time. However, any such activity represents a challenge to democratic societies everywhere, and we're committed to continuing to work on this important issue. Question I have for Twitter and anyone watching: the U.S. government, was Russia the only foreign government that had any kind of politically related content on Twitter, Facebook, or Google at that time? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure that you're going to have some stuff come from China, India. Definitely India. Come on. Anytime you do any kind of customer service where you got to call somebody, it's India. And Indians have a lot of tech workers. So I'm sure in some part, Hyderabad, New Delhi, whatever, they're going to have some Twitter promotion mill that put out election-based content. I know that they have. I'm sure that they have. So why is the onus? Why is the eye all on Russia? What is so bad, special, or unique about Russia that makes all the attention be placed on them? Is it because you have actors in the U.S. government, the Democrats especially, and some on the right as well, that are trying to oust the current administration? Are we in the middle of a soft coup attempt and you're using Twitter, Facebook, Google to try and do it? I think that they're grasping at straws at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this out right here to see what's going on. And this part says enhancing information quality. After the 2016 election, we launched an information quality initiative to further develop strategies to detect and prevent bad actors from abusing our platform. We have since made significant improvements while recognizing that we have more to do as these patterns of activity develop and shift over time. With our current capabilities, we detect and blocked approximately 523,000 suspicious logins daily for being generated through automation. In December 2017, our systems identified and challenged more than 6.4 million suspicious accounts globally per week, a 60% increase in our detection rate from October 2017. Question: how many of these suspicious logins, these automated logins or whatever, come from the Russian Federation? I'm pretty sure that most of them come from China. Number one is China, number two, India. I can almost guarantee you that. And then somewhere like Middle East, Pakistan, maybe Iran, Iraq, somewhere like that. Egypt, but Russia is probably like last on the list. We have developed new techniques for identifying malicious automation, such as near instantaneous replies to tweets, non-random tweet timing, and coordinated engagement. We have improved our phone verification process and introduced new challenges, including reCAPTCHAs to validate that a human is in control of an account. Alongside these improvements, we're continuing to expand enforcement of our developer and automation rules. Since June of 2017, we've removed more than 220,000 applications in violation of our rules, collectively responsible for more than 2.2 billion low-quality tweets. Now, what is a low-quality tweet? How do you define what a low-quality tweet is? Because your average user, be quite honest with you, they post low-quality tweets. So what you mean to say is spam, stuff that shouldn't be there, repetitive stuff? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. A lot of these tech companies use very, very vague language to express what they are actually saying. And when they do that, it's intentional because they don't have to really tell you anything. They could just give you a very vague definition of what they're talking about and get away with pretty much anything. That's also true in their terms of service. They can liberally enforce it due to how vague it is. And then when you try to challenge it, it's not really that much room to challenge because they have, like I said, room in the TOS terms of service to enforce it however they want. In 2018, we will build upon our existing improvements. Our plans include investing further in machine learning capabilities that help us detect and mitigate the efforts of users of fake, coordinated, and automated account activity, limiting the ability of users to perform coordinated actions across multiple accounts in TweetDeck via the Twitter API. Interesting. Continuing the expansions of our new developer onboarding process to better manage the cases for developers, building on Twitter's API. This will help us improve how we enforce our policies on restricted uses of our developer products, including rules on the appropriate use of bots and automation. Now, here's an interesting section right here. Media literacy and partnerships. We recognize that Twitter is an important part of a larger ecosystem of how news and information spreads online, and that we have a responsibility to support external programs that empower our users, connecting them with resources to give them control over their online experience. Our partners, Common Sense Media, the National Association for Media Literacy, the Family Online Safety Institute, and Connect Safety, amongst others, have helped us craft materials and conduct workshops to help our users learn how to process online information and understand which sources of news have integrity. Okay, that's the whole fake news section right there. Now, my question is this. What do they consider fake news? What do they consider real news? Is it going to be, a line based on your political ideology? I'm going to put this blog post, of course, in the description box below. But what I want to see is what they actually consider fake, what's real, what's legitimate, what's illegitimate. I could pretty much bet cash that it's going to be overwhelmingly against conservative sites. You're talking about Newsmax, anything like that could be categorized as being on the right, Breitbart, anything like that is going to be, generally seen as false. But anything on the left, it could be The Root, Mother Jones, Jezebel. They're going to say that's generally true. Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it. We focus on elements like verification of sources, critical thinking, active citizenship online, and a breaking down of digital divides. What is a digital divide? Is it the racial thing? Is it the black Twitter versus white Twitter? Very vague language, but this is part of course for most of these big online tech companies, social media companies especially. And here's a link, of course. Learn more about our most recent efforts for Media Literacy Week in countries like the US, Canada, and Ireland. Follow our partners at Media Literacy Ed, at Common Sense EDU, and at Connect Safety for new initiatives like the Teachers Institute at Twitter HQ. So I guess it's a place you can actually go to learn about what's happening here. Very, very interesting. Twitter is proud to partner with journalistic NGOs for trainings and outreach initiatives, including Reporters Without Borders. I know about them. Hilarious. The Committee to Protect Journalists, and the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press. We will keep working with reporters, journalism NGOs, and media organizations to ensure that Twitter's full capabilities are built into newsrooms and established media outlets worldwide. Okay, moving forward, this should be the end. This is a very long blog post. Even as we continue to learn from the events of the 2016 U.S. election, we're taking steps every day to improve the security of our platform and stay one step ahead of those who would abuse it. As part of our preparations for the U.S. midterm elections, our teams are organizing to verify major party candidates for all statewide and federal elective offices and major national party accounts as a hedge against impersonation, maintain open lines of communication to federal and state election officials to quickly escalate issues that arise. Escalate issues? What you mean? De-escalate? Typo alert. Address escalations of account issues with respect to violations of Twitter rules or applicable laws. Continually improve and apply our anti-spam technology to address networks of malicious automation targeting election-related matters. I mean, why only election-related matters? Shouldn't it be everything else? I mean, there's a lot of spam, there's a lot of garbage, malware and all that on Twitter. So maybe they're doing that as well, but maybe just for a second, this blog post, they're talking about election-related stuff. But if it's only about election-related stuff, then they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's a lot of problems on Twitter aside from what the U.S. government wants to tell them about the election, so-called interference. And also, they want to monitor trends and spikes in conversations relating to the 2018 elections for potential manipulation activity. So they're watching your tweets. They're seeing if you're saying anything that's subversive, anything like that, it's not going to be tolerated, I suppose. We are committed to ensuring that Twitter is safe and secure for all users and serve to advance healthy civic discussion and engagement. Our work on these issues will never be done, and we will continue in our efforts to protect Twitter against bad actors and networks of malicious automation and manipulation. Very interesting, long blog post. And of course, this will be in the box. But come on, this is really a nothing burger. Some of these tweets, I mean, come on. Am I really supposed to be alarmed about this? Is this what I'm supposed to be alarmed about? Come on. I post stuff like that. This is just real basic stuff. Like, this is not like, the dossier from Fusion GPS and Hillary Clinton. This is not like that. This is not like, anything to that extent. They went and spent thousands, if not millions of dollars to create false stuff. That is true propaganda. Talking about Russian girls peeing on the bed because Trump thought that Barack Obama and his wife would sleep in it. It's like, come on, that is propaganda. But this here, talking about look at their face during the debate. Come on, what are we doing? This is nothing. Maybe the U.S. government is just, like I said, they're trying to grasp at straws to find anything, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's, hats. They're trying to designate the Make America Great Again hats as some kind of terrorist threat. I mean, all kind of dumb stuff like that. That's the real propaganda, the U.S. government and the way they're trying to spin this, So, I said this before. Many people, many organizations, they'll use, they'll say that you're doing something that they're actually doing. Okay. The government on the left is engaging in propaganda by telling us that this is propaganda. This is not propaganda. This is very basic, simple stuff. But I don't have too much more to say. What say you? Do you think that the letter from Twitter and the ensuing blog post was a good thing to have to let me know that they're on my side, that they're going to fight against automation of malicious actors, bad actors, that they're going to fight against Russia? Is that a good thing? Or is it just a nothing burger? It's really silly for them to send me a letter. First of all, I'm thinking that, when I first saw it, like I said, in my email list, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably just a highlight of some of the most recent tweets. But then I get into it, it's like a serious letter. I'm like, okay, is it that serious to send me this letter about the situation? but maybe they were forced to do so by the federal government. Maybe that's why they were brought to Capitol Hill to talk to Congress or whatever it is. Maybe they got scared, because I can imagine these guys over at Twitter, you're not talking about political scholars, you're not talking about lawyers and nothing like that. Well, they do have lawyers, but the average person, the average techie working over there is not really built to handle a hot situation like this. You know, when you get put in that ball of fire, it's going to really test you to see what you're going to do as a result. If you're not really built for that kind of environment, you may crumble. And that may be why they wrote this blog post and why they sent me that letter. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.